Yes. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of RJ's Vlogs, a series that I have not actually uploaded to in the past while, actually. But I actually have something. I have something actually very special for today. For the past while, I've been actually thinking about upgrading this, which is my MacBook, which I've been using for the past while to do all of my videos and stuff. This is the 8GB MacBook Air from 2011, or 2015 actually. If it was 2011, it wouldn't even be able to handle editing. But it only has 128 gigs of storage on it and 8 gigs of RAM. But we're gonna be focusing on the storage today, and we're gonna be actually focusing on a lot of this stuff. The reason why I'm upgrading the storage is because 128 gigs is not enough, and some cameras like my DJI Osmo take like 1 gigabyte for a minute of footage. So I want to at least address that issue and at least get more storage in. So in this box of things here, I've got all of the upgrades. So let's get right into it. So before we do get started, on a repair, let me just do a little unboxing of what we got. So, let's first look at all of this. So, what we've got here is a NVMe to USB Type-C enclosure. Now, because we're going to be cloning SSDs here on today's episode, it is important that we actually clone our drive, because this is on a MacBook here. This isn't to the bog standard Windows machine where you could just have a copy of Windows. So I'm just going to get all of the. So I got one of those enclosures, like many would. So this is what you get in the box. Manual, very thin, I tell ya. Little warranty thing, and then we get all of our accessories and cables and stuff. Here's the stuff. I think this is screws for our SSD, which we're going to be putting in. They also give you a Torx screwdriver, a small one, just so you can insert and install your SSD. One of these nice little USB Type-C to Type-C cables, but it has one of those Type-C to Type-A things. No, this is a Type-C to Type-A, but it just has a thing where you can just cover over the USB Type-C to make it, or Type-A to make it a Type-C cable. And then you got this. This is the actual thing itself. This is actually surprisingly tiny. And if we take a look, yeah, this is a tiny thing right here. Now, apparently you're supposed to kind of disassemble this because we need to put an SSD in here, and in fact I think I see that it's actually pretty loose. But as you can see, you place your SSD gets placed into here, we're going to put it on that, and it's a 240mm thing, so yeah. We're just going to set that aside. Then we got right here our toolbox thing. Because that's what we need. Because this thing should be able to do all of the weird and wacky and customized and all the weird different tool things. They advertise this as being built for Apple products, but I don't know. We're going to be using it for a 10-12 screwdriver. However, this thing has a pretty good amount of tools on it. Let me just set the box aside for a small bit, just so I can show you what we've got in here. Alright, so if we go and take a look at it, how does this open? It's hold up, and let me just zoom in on it. Alright, so this is from Pros Kit. Pros Kit is like kind of like some tools and stuff. So let's see, unlock. Okay, so it's an unlocky one. And yeah, looking at the inside, you've got all of these bits and weird settings and things and stuff. And let's see, where's our... Now, there should be a pentalobe in here because we do need to... Because what we're going to be working at is the Mac. And so I think this is a pentalobe. Let me just put it on camera. It's just such a tiny screw. It's weird. But if you're looking at it up close and personal, it's kind of noticeable. Then you got this. This is a precision screwdriver here. The whole so basically I'll just put the pentalobe attachment on here. I think it's a P5. You can just, as you can see, it goes on the end of that. But we're going to deal with it. Now what's pretty cool about this one is that you can actually expand out this little core here, so it's like, and kind of take it out, but we're not going to be working with that. So yeah, we're just gonna, so yeah, pretty cool. Don't think we'll need it yet. We might, but not yet though, because we're going to be using most of what's included in box. This will be for when I do the actual fix. You got a set of tweezers? Yeah, these are, or tweezers or something. They do come with tweezers in there. You've got all of your pry tools and stuff. And then you got one of these, so if you have a screen that needs to be replaced, so like in terms of like the whole, all of these iPhones, they require a suction cup to take out the screen, so yeah. And you got one of those pry things. And if we get this, and if I can get this out, this is a solder aid, so this way it can actually help you in getting out solder, and if you're ever to do micro soldering on this stuff. And let me just get this whole thing out. Hold up, let me just get this out. This is a spudger here. They're all plasticky, but they're pretty good actually. Got this thing. This might also could be used as a spudger, but it's metal and stuff. It's all metal. But yeah, it's a pretty comprehensive set of stuff. Great knockoff for iFixit. This is only like $40. This is actually it's actually less than $40, but we're gonna set that aside. And what is this right here? Let's see, what is this? Oh, it's the SSD. Alright. We're gonna save our SSD for later. Another thing I ordered that doesn't actually go with today's video is an HDMI switcher. My TV has got like only 2 HDMI ports, and yeah, I need more. And I need to get more, and yeah. And let me just get this all. Let me just get this out of its box. There's my scissors. These are some of the hardest stuff on earth. Seriously. Yeah, we're gonna keep our scissors out for all of our upgrades and stuff. But yeah, this is a 5-porter because, you know, I had to run out of HDMI ports. Thankfully, I had this chance to order things, so I'm going to order stuff that I kind of need. Come on. Yeah, this is some of the hardest stuff I've ever seen. Oh, there we go. Yeah, thing supports 4K apparently. Let me just figure out where's the opening for our box here. There it is. As you can see, tiny little thing in here. Gonna do a mini review after this video, of course. Nice little remote. Does it? Oh. Here's some infrared. Here's an infrared detector for it, for this here remote. And then you got this USB, I think this is USB to barrel plug, because, which it doesn't need, but if your HDMI stuff hogs up too much of a voltage on the HDMI port alone, it won't work. Here's the thing, it's very tiny actually. I got three, yeah, output, input, and then our 5 inputs. This supports 4K. Here's the whole thing actually assembled. Let's see, this is our infrared switch, this infrared thing. As you can see, it's one of those, and one of those, things like that. And we got our thing, our 3.5mm jack on the edge of it, so we can then just plug it into here, but I'll worry about that later. Otherwise, in this bundle of things, we have quite a lot actually. More than I did have. So let's first take a look at this. This will be very important on our upgrade. This is an anti-static wrist strap. This is a good way to ground yourself in the event that static electricity, because static electricity sucks. And it literally just kills things. And you just clip it to ground, and inside is a 1 mega ohm resistor from what I've seen on some of the product photos. Some people actually put their DMM probes to this contact and plugged it and grounded it to there. I'm gonna ground it into the mic. It's not the best, but it'll do. We're gonna deal with that. We've got this, which is a Type-C to full-size, I think it's a female USB cable. I'm getting it because this way I can plug in my mixing board into my phone, and then I could, so in days like today, if I'm filming, I could actually, and my Mac is down like it is today, I can actually film and have a good level of professionalism on my videos. So this is a Type-C to 3.0. I got some RAM for the Mac, but I had actually figured out that the people at Apple had actually done this, had the idea and the audacity to actually solder in the RAM, so I don't know why, so I have 16 gigs of RAM now. I might put it in my old Windows PC, get that back up and running. Otherwise I have an HDMI cable for the expander. Also, speaking of the expander, here's our manual for it. It's a bit tiny, but it's good. It's a good manual, not gonna lie. Alright, so, let's see, let's just set that aside, and let's look at the SSD we've got here. Yeah. Crikey, bloody hell. Got a small bit of tape down here. It's tamper-proof tape. Yeah, we're gonna use this screwdriver that came with the whole... with the thing. With the NVMe to everything else. As you can see, right in here, Intel SSD 6. Yeah, I went with a 660p on on the stuff. But this one's got a terabyte, or a tebabyte actually, because this is 1024. Again, 128 gigabytes is not good on a Mac, especially if you're using Mac for the work of professionalism. And of course, I've just got to open up the thing. Come on. Now, I have heard that the Mac has a very specific tolerance to them. I was originally going for an actual, for an SSD from Western Digital, but it was B-keyed and not M-keyed, which can throw a lot of things for a loop these days. Preferably this, because this is an M-key accessory. This USB to M.2 thing is an M-key based accessory. So in here we've got 2 pieces of big cardboard. Here's the instruction manual. Pretty thick though. Let me just get this whole thing off. Down the big pages. As you can see, it's just some legalese and stuff, but pretty thick manual. In between the 2 things are the SSD itself. I'm surprised at how tiny SSDs and how surprisingly tiny things have gotten over the years. So, this is the SSD we're dealing with. This thing is tiny though. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but this is tiny. Look at this. Alright. So now for the first leg of our upgrade. And let's get right into that. So here we have our SSD, and our enclosure. This is the screws that came with the enclosure and the cable that also came with the enclosure. So, seeing as this one is already disassembled by the manufacturer themselves, we can now just put in our SSD like this. And as you can see, it's sticking up. Now, what we can do is we can take one of our screws and hold it down on the standoff. Let me just get one of the screws out. And these screws be like. Alright. So now we can just hold it down with the screws. Let me just put this screw at the end of the screwdriver. Yeah, this isn't sticking to the screwdriver that's included. And now, if we screw it down, there we go. And now, screw it good and tight. It ain't coming out. Well, it will be, but we're going to be using this to clone our drive. Alright. So, wrong way. Right here, and we're good. Actually, we do need to. We're also going to screw on all of our other components, so let me just get them all squared away here. We've got our 4 screws. I'm just going to put them in my parts bin of epic proportions. Keep it all nice and organized. Keep it all in the parts bin. We're only going to be using this temporarily, but I want to at least make sure everything is secure when we do our work. So I'm really not concerned about data loss because we're going to be cloning to it anyway. The new drive is going to be cloned to. But I will get on my ESD band for now. Let me just get that on. You are supposed to put it on your dominant hand like this. Alright. Because now that we have that on, we can now just keep ourselves all safe and stuff. don't want any data just dying or committing oof. You don't want anything to commit oof these days. Just tighten this up. These ESD bands are a good investment to make because static electricity does actually kill. It doesn't kill people, it just kills the data that you're trying to do, especially for cloning drives and stuff. This ESD band was about $4 at B&H, so you could just order them for like pretty cheap actually. And they will keep you all protected and stuff. Because again, nobody wants their data cloned. Nobody wants their data oofed. Alright, so now we're just gonna tighten that up. We can now be safe because we've actually grounded it, we've tied it to an appropriate ground. And we just got our screwdriver that's included. I like how this brand actually included the screwdriver in the and the screws in the actual thing itself. Because then that actually helps us in actually having a good thing and stuff. I'm also keeping an eye on how long my video is because I'm recording on my phone, which only has 32 gigs of storage on it. And let me just load this on. So, we're going to start out with our actual thing itself. Got our Type-C end, and let me just angle or something like that. There we go, now we're good. And if we move all of our parts out of the way and bring our MacBook forth, we can now there we go, just plug that in there. And I think there's an LED on here, no there isn't, but we at least know something is happening. Let's see, yep, there's a blue LED right here. Should be evident that it actually is working. Let me just get a shortcut, confirm that, and we're just going to initialize it. Be readable though because it's an NVMe. Maybe just reinsert it if it doesn't seem to want to work. Why is it not readable? Alright, now let's just check disk utilities here. Yep. And we're just gonna... Yep, 1.02 terabytes. Yeah. Now, what we're gonna do is that, let me just move this up here. Yeah, so that's what we got. Well, at least it knows that it's at a 1.2 terabyte. We're gonna erase it. And there we go. Don't use because this is going to become a boot disk. As you can see, it's now just uninitialized, and you've just got an untitled thing on it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to reboot the machine, and we're going to we are going to hit Command S on launch next time around, just so we can get into that. And yes, I do. All right, so what I'm going to do next is we're going to reboot like I did before, and it's gonna be yes, of course it's doing all of its command line things. I accidentally did the Command S and it's supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be Command R if I remember correctly, because now we're doing it on the Osmo because we want to go into recovery mode. in recovery mode, we've got a full-featured version of Disk Utilities on there, and if it's booting very slowly, then we're good. So I'm just going to let it boot, and we will let it clone itself eventually once it does that. Once we get to work on that. Alright, so I'm just going to skip to that. Alright, so here we are in recovery mode, which is macOS Utilities. Let me just turn down our exposure. Hold up, I'm going to turn down. Alright, now we can just have it. So, as you can see, we've got a few options, such as restore from a time machine backup, reinstall, get help online, or disk utility. We're going to go with disk utilities here. As you can see, we've got the external drive. We're going to be using the external. As you can see, the actual drive I have is literally got like 128 gigs, and I've already used most of it. So we're going to use the restore button titled. So restore from Macintosh HD, and basically what'll happen is that the disk will basically clone itself. What'll happen is that we have our Mac's main drive, our main boot disk, and it'll just restore from that, basically by just copying the files over onto the new SSD. So now you can just press restore, and now it's just, and as you can see, it's actually just replicating the actual content that's on the other drive. This is a very fast process, as you can probably tell. It's restoring from the original drive, and it's gonna definitely directly clone it. But instead of cloning it as a 121 gig, it's gonna make it the whole terabyte worth. This is good for the upgrades, like the stuff I'm trying to do here. And yeah, I'll just let it go, and then we will take it. That'll be a short one. Alright, so everything's been all copied and all good, and now we can just hit that done button. As you can see, now it's a direct copy of it, but now it is a terabyte's worth of a hard copy of it. Yeah, literally the exact same thing, but it's just more, it's much, cloned. Alright, so now we're just gonna shut down here and get right to the actual disassembly, if it'll let me. No, I want to shut down. Before we do get to work, let's just get the SSD out of the whole thing. I'm just gonna skip through this because it's pretty much the opposite of what I was doing earlier, so yeah, let me just get to that. Alright, so now that the SSD is out, let's just get all of the screws dealt with. I'll get those dealt with, yeah. And yeah, let's go. Also, do remember to put all of your stuff in a parts bin, all your screws in a parts bin, because these pentalobes are very tiny. As you can see, I'm using a fairly small bit for the pentalobes. I can't get it to focus, but I will say pentalobes are tiny screws, so do put them in a parts bin. As you can see, I'm keeping the SSD screws, and I'm keeping the pentalobes in completely separate and insufferable containers. Alright, so I'm going to get a third bin out and just get those in there. Otherwise, now we have it opened and stuff. Alright, so let's get it all opened. Alright, so now we've actually got the bottom case open, and as you can see, the SSD is right here. It's got a Samsung controller and 4 of these. I think there's more on the other side. So yeah, let's just get to actually getting that off. The screwdriver for our cloning kit should do us fine enough for getting our SSD out, and yeah, so there might be a bit with this screwdriver, but I'm not gonna, I can just use this one and we're good enough. Alright, so I'll just get that all out. So first, oh, they used a very thin bit. They used a weird one. So we're gonna try and look for a smaller sized bit because Apple used a really weird one. Look, that is too huge. Let's see. About this small one here. This is, I mean, we're getting pretty small here. How small can we get? Nope, that will be, that's a bit too much. Let's test this one. Nope, still a bit too big. And this one should be it. I mean, these are tiny bits now. We're getting to tiny bit sized. We're getting into tiny bit hours right now. Not gonna lie. Might not even be able to complete this repair. There it is. We found the correct one. And now let's just unscrew. It's kind of like, okay, these are very shallow bits, so we're gonna also keep this one all safe and such. Gonna give that an individualized. We're gonna individualize this one, and we can just lift it up. And there we go. That's our SSD out, and I'll just get the new one in. Looks of it, I think I've run into a bit of a problem. The thing's a bit too small here. If you look at it, the actual SSD is a bit too short, and yeah, I've got the wrong keys. I've got the wrong key shape. Well. So it's day 2 of this upgrade right now, and well, I've had a bit of an error in my ways of actually working with this upgrade. So let me just get out my, I think it's a T2 or a T6 on the actual SSD itself. Let me just test it. Right here will our SSD come out. I think it is a T6 on Apple products, but I don't know. I think it might even be the T7 for our Torx screws. So you gotta choose the right head with these things. Some products use the 6, some use a 7, some use even smaller. Yep, it's the 7. Alright, I'm gonna just go and put that off to its side. Let me actually get this on. Gotta get that. So if I have a look here, let me just get this SSD out. So this is the SSD I have. I'm a bit shaky today. And this is the SSD I bought. This is the Intel 660p. As you can see, let me just put this down here. I'm gonna put this down here, and I'm gonna zoom into it. As you can see, the actual Intel one is a bit on the shorter side. The Intel is an 80 millimeter, I think. And this, I think, is 100 or 120. So, huge issue here. Luckily, the gods of Amazon have gotten us something pretty good out of China. So this is a M to B thing because Mac uses B, so Apple used a B connector, which is this one, and this is an M, preferably an M.2 connector. So luckily, let me just get this all opened up. Where are scissors at? Always gotta have those holiday scissors, even though it's not the holidays anymore. Bloody hell, these plastic bags. There we go, got it. Well, so what we got here is one of those things that'll basically put an M to a B thing. This is about $15, and yes, You also get some English. You get some good old English. Because we tested before shipment too. We suggest you try it again before your Mac can detect NVMe SSD. Please notice to insert card fully into SSD slot. And you must prepare bootable USB disk C3 point with macOS Mojave to erase the APFS file system first, if it can't support recover from internet. Although I do think macOS runs off of 10.15 now, but that could be just down to age. Make sure to move Mojave, yeah. This is just steps on how to work with copying an SSD, preferably of the type that I have. And so what you do is on the edge of here, you fit it in like so, and look, they're now the same length. And now I can just place that into here, flip it over. Once you fit it in, oh come on. Unfortunately, I don't think Intel made it a bit on the huge side. Only a bit on the weird side. Let me just put it at a different angle. It's very hard to do when the camera's in your face. But now it actually kind of fits in there. Just gotta. There we go. Now it is the exact same length as the old one, and now it looks. And now it is exactly of that same type. Now let's see. This is my T7. This T7 driver. And let me just put everything back into it. And there's that screw. But I am glad that they actually got it to work. As you can see, there's a bit of a slight incline. Don't know if it'll appear on camera. There is a bit of a slight incline, but I can now use my new SSD in peace, I guess. I'm trying to get this shaky like this. There we go. SSD is nice and firmly tucked in. Good little SSD. Alright, and I will get the rest of this screwed on, and I think that's... and we will complete the task. Alright, so now that it's actually back together, let's see if it actually boots. Oh, there we go. How do we get our Apple loading screen? Where do we get an error? Let's just put this out of the way for good luck. Where do I have to clone the drive again? Because I have some errors and stuff. Alright. Take this off. Oh, there's the Apple logo right there. Beautiful. We got an Apple logo. We got the loading screen. All right, my work here must be done. It's done, guys. Let's just see if it actually boots to our username and password thingy. If not, it's probably gonna boot to one of those install things. Yep, there's our cursor. There's me, right there. Alright, let's see. Just get this utilities open. Once this is pretty good. Alright, loading my apps. There's disk utility though. Good. Let me just open up disk utility, loading disks. Macintosh HD, 1.02 terabytes. Would you look at that? Well, that's it for today's video, I guess. Thanks for watching. Actually, I'm surprised I actually got it to work. It works just fine now. So yeah, now it's just got to do all of its post SSD stuff. It's now using a SSD. That is actually surprisingly good. Free. Let's see. Is it? It won't let me actually use the rest of this. Let's see. This back. Yeah, it's actually got all the storage on it. Yeah. 9.910 gigabytes. So this actually went pretty well. So again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later, and bye.